You know, sometimes you just want to talk about giant robots, right? And I like giant robots. I really do. My main channel, the icon on my main channel is literally just half of a giant robot, and then the other half is Luffy, right? So today, I thought, hey, why don't I take this and I'll just see what happens, right? I'll give each member of Team Ruby a giant robot. Why not? Which ones would fit them best? Why am I not throwing them all in a Power Rangers mech when the whole shtick is that they're all part of a team? Well, because that's boring, and I prefer my idea. My idea is better than the theoretical idea I had beforehand, because that's how a drill works. We evolve, right? Anyway, let's just start off. All right, so I'm gonna be working my way backwards. All right, so I'm gonna start off with Yang, and Yang, I'm gonna be, surprisingly enough, putting her in EVA Unit-01. Why is that? Well, Yang. Okay, so minor spoilers for EVA. The EVA Unit-01 is directly connected to Shinji's mom, right? So, Shinji also has a terrible relationship with his dad and a bad relationship with his mom. He constantly seeks the admiration and attention of his parent. And EVA Unit-01 does go into a berserk state, which has glowing red eyes whenever it takes too much damage or the instinct to protect rushes over the unit, right? Which is also similar to how Yang will sometimes trigger her semblance in order to, say, protect Blake in Volume 6, protect Ruby in Volume 8. She didn't trigger it in Volume 9, but in Volume 10, let's be real, she's probably gonna take some major hit for Ruby, because she kinda always does, right? So, yeah. Honestly, the the worst thing about this is that EVA Unit-01 is purple and green, so it has no correlation with Yang. So honestly, the color scheme is just all out of whack, and that honestly is the most clashing thing, but hey, that's nothing Photoshop can't fix. So, I have Yang for EVA Unit-01. Next, I got Blake. And Blake, I narrowed it down to exactly two options. One, I think I'm just gonna get the easy one out of the way. Lelouch v Britannia, and his mechs, right? Code Geass. Why are you shocked, right? Oh wow, the rebellion, the black robot that's piloted by the rebellion character is fitting for Blake Belladonna, the person who is in it is technically a revolution group, but the White Fang is kind of more terrorist than, they're more likely to blow up society than progress it forward. So it is very much different from the Black Knights, and I didn't really like how that was tied, especially since Blake's whole shtick is leaving the White Fang because it becomes too violent and too extreme. And then you combine that with Lelouch, who pilots said unit, being arguably the most extreme character in Code Geass, where he's, willing to do such crazy things as unite the entire planet against him, right? So it is quite wild. But there is another mech that is also black, and that's Mazinger Z. I know this honestly might be even a weirder choice than Eva, but the reason I picked Mazinger Z is because the main theme for Koji Kabuto, obviously he develops in multiple ways, right? He develops in hundreds of different ways in every episode and every different week. But at the end of the day, the thing that Koji has to overcome the most is choice. With his grandfather giving him the mech, it is literally stated, you can choose to either be a god or devil. The choice is in your hands. You get to choose which world you walk on. You get to choose how you use your power. It is yours and yours alone. And just as Koji made the right decision to join the, well, Photon Institute and fight against the evils, Blake made the choice to live with normal people and live in society. She didn't cast herself out into an extremist group which believed in, wiping out all of humanity. She made the choice with the powers she had, and then she used said power to rebel against the similar forces that gave rise to, well, the very power that she has. She received training from the White Fang and from Adam, and then she used said training to eventually take him down. Much like how Koji used Mazinger Z, the robot developed by his grandfather, who was best friends, or at least extremely close work colleagues, with Dr. Hell, and then he used said power to rebel against Dr. Hell, who actually helped Professor Kabuto on, well, the Mazinger Z project, in most continuities. I should also specify, I'm just kind of going to give her zero, or sorry, not zero. I'm going to give her pretty much every iteration except 0, because 0 has its own thematics, which doesn't necessarily work in this equation. Also, 0 is just kind of too peak for Blake to handle. I'm not even trying to hate, but like that's too much, okay? he's a little out of anyone's pay grade. So yeah. Next, I have Weiss. And Weiss is even crazier, because I have the Vilkis, and that's from Cross Ange. This one is far more, the pilots are very similar. Disgraced princess fighting against an evil, incredibly wealthy man who seeks to control her every single movement. The only difference is, well, in Cross Ange, that guy wants her as a bride slash person he owns, and Jock Schnee wants Weiss as a daughter slash person he owns. So they're both terrible people. So that is also another fitting one. Weiss just can't escape the bad. Also, there is the main musical aspect. The pilot of the Vilkis, she does sing quite often in the show, and her singing is brought into major emphasis, and it's constant. While not the exact constant in the show, it is a major thing. Also, on top of that, she does have a major theme of needing to gather people around her because of her rough exterior of when she breaks into earlier episodes, and she has to gain that around and gain the loyalty of, well, her colleagues, which is very similar to how Weiss initially was the shaking. She was the person shaking the fort, so to speak, in Team RWBY, and basically had to, set herself straight before everything went downhill. And now we have RWBY. Thankfully, this one is just kind of easy. It's just the red robot that keeps moving forward and has extreme willpower. Like, it's Gurren Lagann. It's not that hard to see why. Like, okay, so the whole theme of Gurren Lagann, fighting spirit, moving forward no matter what, the resilience of humanity, all of those things are shown in RWBY. And with specifically the main character, Ruby Rose herself, right? And then you have what? Like, I don't know, maybe a major depression arc in which the character emerges from even stronger than before. Like, it just fits really well. And it just works. That's just the best way to put it. It just works. All of these, I would say, work well. Obviously, I've seen a lot of mecha. I haven't seen every single mecha ever created. And honestly, if I'm being real, I'm kind of surprised how, like, normie this list seems. Because I got Gurren Lagann, Mazinger Z, EVA Unit-01. And the only one that's a little weird is the Vilkis. But even that's from Cross Ange, which is still relatively popular as far as mecha series go. So, honestly, if you guys got some more obscure picks about how Weiss is actually... She actually should be piloting the I don't know, the gunbuster or something of the sort. Or hey, pull out the random mecha show that you know from 1664 or something like that. I would love to see it. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Also, if anyone has some cool mecha fan art, that would also be cool if you could tell me where to find it. Because I think mecha fan art and RWBY crossover would go insanely hard. But hey, I don't get nice things. Except for my YouTube channel, which thankfully you guys have supported very much. Also, look forward to the Crimes on Tyrion. You might be more surprised, because I'm very surprised and I'm making it right now. Anyway, that's all for now, folks. Goodbye.